All right, humans, welcome on back. Oh, I am flying. Let's go to this angle. There we go. My name is Tree, and welcome back to the Experience SMP server that we're playing on, where we're currently working into a steampunk project. And I mean, there's been a little bit of progress. I guess there's been, work on our first two builds, and you've seen that kind of progress over the last couple episodes. But it's now time for our next episode, and in today's episode we're going to be focusing on our major smelter. So there's going to be a massive sort of smelting build. There's going to be like furnaces and chimneys and all sorts of lovely goodies in here. And yeah, I'm really excited to build this one. So really, again, I'm going to change up the styles a little bit. Again, it's not going to be so much like just music and then just watching. I am going to do like little reviews on what we're building, how we're building it, all that kind of good stuff. As we kind of go through, so you guys get to see more of like what my thinking is, because in survival it ain't typically the most straightforward, although it is kind of a bit dark, so let's stick to the good old traits of I do like my bed. There we go. Yeah, so I'm probably going to stick to more of the techniques about talking about how I'm building, why I'm building it, and all those sort of different techniques. And I mean, I enjoy it going through the build process, but survival is quite difficult. So we're going to talk about, again, as we go through the build today, it'll be obviously about 9-10 minutes long, the video. We'll show you the build from start to finish, all the different techniques and talking through it, just like what we did with the cathedral. Hope you guys enjoy it, and again, as ever, much appreciated for all the likes, comments, shares, people who watch the videos, not just the first few seconds like this, they watch till the end, and then obviously get back to us in the Discord and catch the live streams. You guys are so supportive. I wouldn't do this if it wasn't for people watching, even if it's just a few of you guys. It doesn't matter. This is a good catalogue for me, for you, and everyone can watch them all back and see the city progress as we move on. So this is the last build of the first sector, and then we're going to move on to the front gates in the next episode, which is super exciting. But I'll leave it here now. I'll be quiet here, and then let's just get into the actual buildy bit that we all enjoy, and I'll talk you through exactly what we're doing. Right, have fun with this one. Thank you very much, Mr. Minecraft Tree. Right, let's dive into it. I'll try and explain as we're going to go through the build process exactly what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and just go through each segment and talk about it. So we normally do this when we're streaming, so if you guys want to catch a live stream over on Twitch, you're more than welcome to join us. And normally that's where you guys can give me ideas, but I also articulate a little bit better about the different build techniques and the methods that I use for my building style. Now, the first sort of stage, obviously, there's not too much terraforming required for this. We're just embedding it into the existing land site. You can see, obviously, we just cleared it out and flattened it. We did begin with a little bit of wool just for the size and proportions here, just to get the front gates right, because most of the builds that I do sketch them out first to give me a sense of perspective, size, scale, sort of ideas, and sketch it out first. So we use the wool to then get that size and make it look kind of nice, and then we then take that away and then add the blocks to it. And that's normally what I do to get the initial scale and size, and then later on I don't normally build with wool after that, not normally anyway, or another block palette like dirt or something. But the block pattern for this one is exactly the same as the hotel build, which is the first one we did. You can see that here with the warped wood with the frame of the roof there, and the cyan concrete, cyan wool, and the warped wood stripped was used for the remainder of the roof. And I've seen a lot of other builders use that technique with having a gradient on the roof, and it just looks incredible. And it's something, as you can tell, we've carried over to obviously to this project. The block palette for the wall is blackstone, polished basalt, and polished blackstone. That's what we're using for a majority of the wall design here on both the builds on the outsides that we've done so far. There's obviously another face appearing on this one. We won't talk about it. Along with obviously this roof design as well. This roof design at the top here, as you can see me building it up, I take it out and out a few times here. Actually, later on in the video, you'll see where I take it out completely, because we weren't too happy with the actual design concept on it. It wasn't something I was looking to go for. But as you can see with the sort of wall design, I sort of left some blank holes ready for some copper and some sort of finer details that we add later on. I did lose a little bit of footage, unfortunately, so unfortunately there's a lot of the detailing I've missed in this little video, but we'll hopefully cover off some of those when we go for a little walk after the build's finished. Now with the copper, all the copper is going to be the unwaxed copper to begin with, and then obviously later on we then go back and wax it later, which is probably a really silly idea. I think going ahead in the future, I'd probably better pre-waxing it all. So basically go into my inventory, have the wax, or the beeswax, or honeycomb rather, and then just use that obviously with the copper and then put it in already waxed, so it doesn't age. That's something I probably would do differently, because for this you could probably see me going back and forward with the copper, adding this detailed pipes in You can see that obviously I'm having to go back and wax it later so it doesn't age. Little tip, I'd probably want to do that differently going forward. I only learned that later, but that's probably the better way of doing it. So these are just some of the details we're adding into some pipes. There's a few more pipes that we did add in that you won't probably see in this video, but until the end, and I'll go through a little walkthrough with you and just highlight some of the things that I quite liked. As I say, the roof does change, so this is a little bit irrelevant, but I went for it anyway. This was the original build concept that I had for the roof, was to build it up in different stages. Building it all the way across here, again, subsequently was probably another bad idea because we were going to have the hollowed roof for the bottom of the build. And my initial idea was to have the top, then another room, but as the build got bigger, you're thinking, well, that'd be quite difficult to do. So eventually we opened it up later on. But yeah, talking about the walls, one little rule of thumb that I always have is the wall should never be flat. The walls are normally either minimum 2 blocks deep, or ideally 3 to 4 blocks deep, just to provide a little bit of depth and texture to the walls. And it's just really nice. Typically for the it's at ground level, for you walking by, it just looks way more interesting. And then walls that are slightly further up, you know, a 1 or a 2 block deep wall is much nicer to look at, and it just brings a lot more, you know, detail and storytelling to the build, a lot more texture and depth. Normally that's for kind of the size that you would typically see. You can see with the back here, kind of like completely went against my rule of thumb. You can see it's a 2 deep wall with the outside frame with dark wood, and obviously the inside the frame is obviously using the block palette that we spoke about earlier. But in regards to the block placement, this is an interesting one. I get asked this all the time when I'm streaming. It's like, you know, hey Tree, do you have like a method for it? And not particularly, it is random. Like I don't use like Matica or anything like that. So you'll see here when I'm putting the upper floor on, when I'm placing these blocks, it's just random. We're just using them in different combinations on top of each other. So if I see, for example, a polished blackstone below, I may put one above it, or I might choose a different block to go on top of it. So it's never always the same. It's like normally like a 50-50 decision about whether I should place the same color block or a different color block on top of the one below it, and then just go up with that same sort of build technique. So it is random, so it's not something, you know, it's easy to explain, but it is particularly random. And when you're going past the build, you're never going to notice if one block's out of place unless you are going for uniformity, which I'm trying to stay away from, because it should be random. It should be kind of, you know, build as it is. And you see a lot of builds, if you were to look at like buildings and old buildings as you're out on your walks, you'll see that everything is, you know, there's a bit of uniformity to modern builds, but a lot of the old ones, it was just put up. So there is some differences there. Now here you can actually see the change in the build. Yep, big change. It used to be that 45 degree. It's now arched. We changed that during stream, so thanks for those that made the suggestion. I think it was Schnarfels made the suggestion to maybe change the roof design to a Pringles man with his monocle in his eye. Monocle? Monocle, yeah, his eye. But yeah, so we had to change that. We can see it here now. As you kind of get closer to the left-hand side, you can see me sort of working that left-hand edge and just bringing the roof just down, and then obviously having that then arch into the build just like on the right-hand side here. That was a fair bit of work, to be honest. That was a little bit hard work to kind of get that all done. I think in total it was like a 40-minute, hour-long session just to update the roof to get it to how we wanted to in survival. It wasn't the easiest thing. That's where survival is a little bit more difficult to get things done. And as you can see with the back, we have to do the exact same thing. So a little bit irritating, but you know, it's all good. So with the roof again, warped wood is the outside. Here on this front edge, there's 2 layers deep of the slabs. Also the stairs and full blocks are what we use for the actual arch. And then behind it is in the normal roof with a cyan concrete, cyan wool, and obviously with the warped stripped wood as well. Coming up to the chimneys up above, we didn't want to go for the random pattern. We didn't want to go for a gradient. This time we went for a sort of a spiral design. We just thought it would be a little bit more industrial with that look and feel. So you can see here we went for like a 3-tier sort of bottom, mid, top design, just to give it, again, more depth. We didn't want the chimney to just go straight up. And we don't want it to be uniform. We don't want it to be the same all the way up. We want it to be different size and scale. So again, it just draws your eye to it, and it's much more interesting than just a flat surface. So again, we did both of these. You can see the one on the right hand side. We did the same sort of spiral design. It's almost okay. The difficulty was changing from the different diameters of circles. They didn't quite line up when you went up to each row, but I did the best we could to try and get it line up the best we could with the chimneys at the top. And I think they came out looking really good. I was really actually pleased with those when we got to them, and the detailing that we added later made it even better, which you can see here. As we kind of zoom out, you'll see there's a lot more detail in here. This is when I lost a lot of the footage, unfortunately. When you have a look at just above the circular roof, there's a lot more chimney stacks, there's a lot more copper and sort of finer details, and all the way up to chimneys there. But I'll leave it to Tree. Tree can have to go over it with you, and we'll go through all the finer details of the smelting build. Alrighty, here we go. This is it. Grand reveal. So obviously with the interior, I did not showcase that all that much in the time lapse because, well, I just kept forgetting to hit record. Oh, it's almost nighttime. I'll sleep a little bit first. So we're going to have a look at the interior. So this was a really nice one. I actually enjoyed this build quite thoroughly. It's a slightly different style, I'd say, to I'm usually used to, because I've actually done redstone. Yep, Tree done some redstone. So there's a kind of an output valve at the bottom here, and an input valve for both on the left and the right here. So you can see the bottom row is just the normal furnaces, and blast furnaces at the top. So I put the lever off, and you'll be able to see the sort of the minecart doing its little thing, and then coming back again. And then we've got the other one as well, boop, and then that sends a blast furnace to the top. And away it goes, filling them all up, lovely. Made up obviously to a next floor, where we made ourselves a cheeky little kelp farm. Just a little manual one, nothing too crazy, not automated or anything like that, because I don't think we'll use it all that often, but yeah, press a little lever, those all shoot on up to the big bad world, and then end up in this little hopper. So they end up in here. In fact, I think a lot of them are getting blocked. Yep. You get the idea. I think they're all about here. We'll work it out. So they're all in there, and then over here to the side we've got our lava farm. Now it's nothing major, it's enough for us to kind of do the job, and over here I've been starting to collect some already. But obviously looking up though, I did do a little bit of pipe work. Unfortunately there is a little bit of, coppering. Fortunately, there's nothing I could do about that. I could fix it. I could probably fix it. And then obviously that connects up to the top to the big pipe. This goes to the outside, and everything's obviously all connected. The sort of pipes and everything goes around, and the back's been done as well. The only little thing I have here that's additional is this little hopper system here. That actually puts down the input for the coal or lava or kelp, whatever we decide to use, as the fuel source, and the fuel source goes into here. So it all kind of works just as as I would like it to, sort of doing the job, which is really nice. So yeah, this is our next build. This is the third one now, all complete, and I am actually relatively happy with it. Yeah, I'll do the job. Now you might notice that the, that's moved. That used to live over here. I think I've made a couple of little changes. So with that build now done, well done me. Let's just have a little conversation about what's next. So at the start of the video, you might have heard me say, because I recorded that quite some time ago, we'd probably move on to the gates next. I'm second guessing the gates. I just don't know whether it'll be blocking off the build too much. So when I fly in here, you can imagine looking in, this is going to cover up a lot of the build. You're not going to be able to take, pride in flying into it. The only sort of solitude I have is if you were to fly in from the other side and then turn around, you would then see the builds as you can approach the front gates potentially. And obviously the big chimneys up here, and it'd be a very grand design. So I'm a bit 50-50 on it. So what I decided to do, if I just fly over here accordingly, you might see from the work, I had started on stream a little bit of a tidy up session. So I flattened out this area here, started to gather some of the resources. You can see where the next river is going to be, just like that one over there. And we flattened out this entire section for the next set of builds. So this one is ready to get built on, and this one here is ready to go as well. Everything's flat, we don't just do builds. So in the next episode, I think we're probably going to focus on the path systems. So we'll get the path systems in potentially for both, maybe. Definitely this one, so we'll build that one up. And then we'll get the construction of the wool and stuff, and we'll try and work on some height. So we'll do that in stream, probably on Twitch over the next sort of few days and few weeks. We'll get that hopefully started. But yeah, we're certainly making some solid progress. Now, flying down to here, though. Yes. I don't know what we're going to do with that thing. It's on the wrong side. Now, the reason why I'm not sure what to do with that one is because there's another one there. And if I hop over here very swiftly, there's another one there. So we actually have three pretty much above Y. What are we on? Y, 65? So about 63, something like that. So I think the intentions are for the build, if I use my little free cam tool, is to basically focus on this area. Is going to be for tools, armory, weapons, saddles, and that kind of stuff, flint and steel. They're going to go in a little center, a little corner area here behind the wall. Going into this zone, I think it's going to be like an alley, like a diagonal alley sort of thing. But there'll be two buildings, one on the left, one on the right. And I think I was making farms in here. So the farms are going to be like, you know, potatoes or wheat, little mini wool farm potentially. But have them in a big sort of row. So one row here and another row of buildings here, quite tall. But have them obviously like arches over the top. Arches up top, so there's like an alleyway between them. There'll be two layers of buildings, so there'll be a lower layer and here on both sides, and then maybe a second and a third tier, and there'll be farms all across them all. So I'm probably going to think about blocking that one up. I'll do a little creative world for that, and I'll plan it out. Again, I'll do it on stream and stuff, and I'll showcase what we're up to. And then I get a little bit terraforming here. So I think the next episode is going to be really busy. I think it'll be terraforming, digging all this out. I think it'll be planting down the wall for both of these. But again, we'll discuss that on another happy day. But yeah, look at these. Look at these. These are looking fantastic. These are looking really, really nice. Look at those. Looking great. Also in the next episode, we might have a little bit of a special reveal. I have been working on something a little bit special. Now, you guys all kind of, well, the people that watch regularly will know I've had this skin for quite a considerable amount of time. Look at this thing. I have had this skin for probably, hard to say, 4 or 5 years maybe? Don't quite know. But I've made a new skin. So we'll reveal that on the next new episode. We'll do that right at the beginning of the episode. I basically have just built it as of recording this. Featured it on stream, had a little bit of feedback, and I've made some modifications. So I'm hoping that I can showcase that to you on the next episode once I've finished it. Other than that, right, for today, look at this. Look at us. Look at those. Looking pretty good. So thank you very much for everyone that's watched today. I say it's just a little bit of sort of giving an update for you guys, cataloguing the progress. You can watch them back and catch them later. They're not too long, I guess. They're long enough form that is good for YouTube, but not too long, right? Right? Yeah. Cool. Right. Well, thank you very much. My name has been Tree. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you very much. If you have clicked the subscribe button and enjoyed these and want to see more in the future, I'd love to see you there. If not, catch you on Twitch sometime. We do stream over there quite frequently, 3 times a week. And all the links to like Discords and social medias are all in the description below. Right. Till the next video, guys. Have a great time, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. See you later. Bye.